the Leica SL first generation Type 601. My name is Michael and I'm a filmmaker and photographer from Sweden, and I recently just bought this camera, and today I'm going to talk about my first impression and thoughts about this beautiful piece of machinery. First thing, why did I buy it? I'm a filmmaker and a photographer, and I'm doing more and more of photography work. Before this camera, I had my Canon 5D, and that's a camera that I bought like maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where I'm starting to do more and more photography, but I didn't feel like it was like my main thing to work on. And that camera was great. It's been very good for me over the years. For the money, I think it's a great camera. But over the years, I started to get more and more photography work, and I've been starting to shoot more photography and taking more photos myself. And I think this is something I want to jump into even more, and not only be a filmmaker. And I'm feeling that I'm getting more and more work that is only photography. So shooting with my Canon 5D, I've been starting to feel that I don't enjoy that camera that much, and I put more pride and energy in my photos, and that way I really want a camera that I can be happy with, and in 5 years time from now I can look back on the photos and still be happy with them and not have a regret like, oh, that photo was pretty cool, we was on this location, but I wish I had a better camera, or I wish I had a camera that I enjoyed more. I always knew that Leica was kind of like a very luxury brand and something, the Rolls-Royce of the photography world. My dad has had a lot of Leica's camera before, and 7 years ago I bought the Leica Q, because that was like the entry-level camera that I could buy, and which was affordable for me. And since using that one, I've been starting to enjoy the colors and the contrast very much with that camera, and I think that also reflects my film work, because I'm using my red camera there all the time, and that's pretty much the same thing. I like the colors and I like the contrast and very much the workflow of that red camera, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand, because you can say that you can get the same look in like another DSLR camera, and maybe you can, but for me, I don't see it, and I don't see the point of it, because it takes so much work to get those cameras into getting the same look as the Leica or the red camera. But when I started to look into this one and looking at the second-hand market, I saw that you can buy this camera for around $2,000, and then of course I need to buy a couple lenses. For me, it's machinery and it's a tool, and it's supposed to be used. If someone used it before, as long as the conditions is good and they treated it well, I don't mind buying second-hand. You don't see this very often on the second-hand market, but I could find two here in Sweden, and I went to try this one, and I kind of fell in love with it directly. I think there's two things. It's the feeling you get when holding it. I mean, it feels very much high quality. And also another thing that I was shocked about is the viewfinder of this camera. You're not just looking through a simple viewfinder, you actually see through the viewfinder what you're seeing on the display. So if you're looking at the viewfinder and you're changing, let's say like the aperture or the shutter speed, you will see it directly in the camera, and you will see how the photo will turn out in terms of the exposures and the colors, and not only the composition of the frame. And this might sound like a small thing, but when you start using it, it's pretty damn amazing. So I've had this camera for maybe 4 months now, and I already had it on maybe 3-4 jobs and so on, and so far I'm super happy with it. It makes me excited to shoot, and it speeds up the workflow in the editing process. I don't need to spend as much time there now, because if I could just like take the photos directly from the camera, they look pretty good just directly. I'm just tweaking like the white balance and a little bit of the colors and just exposure, but I'm not doing anything super crazy in editing. So here are some sample photos that I've been taking over the last couple months with it. Going back to this, why Leica and why secondhand? And as I said before, secondhand, it doesn't bother me. If I can get a better deal and a better camera for less money, why not? And yeah, why Leica? I mean, some people are loving this camera, some people are hating it because you think that people buying it just because the brand itself. And to me, I don't really care anymore. This is my work, this is my passion, and I take photos in work, but also in my personal life, and I want to have the best equipment. And for me now, I think this is the right tool for me. And also I think nowadays a lot of brands are focusing on other things. They could be focusing on the speed and on the autofocus on the camera, and to me, that's not super important. I like the old school way of shooting, and to me it's more about the feeling of using the camera and also the colors that the camera produce. That's the main thing for me. And I mean, I haven't tried all the cameras, but I think I'm getting that from the Leica camera, the Leica SL, but also from the Leica Q I have. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to just start using this camera more and more and see what it can produce over the years. I bought two lenses when I bought this camera, a 35mm and also an 85mm. My first idea was to buy a 35 and a 50mm, but they didn't have a 50mm, so I tried out the 85, and that lens is hands down my favorite lens right now. And I don't know why I haven't had an 85mm lens before, but it's just perfect for shooting portraits and yeah, just like lifestyle photos. Yeah, I really enjoy that lens, I must say. That's my first impression of this camera. I'm very happy with it. I'm gonna do more videos on the channel where I'll be doing more photography. I recently just tried out shooting with old vintage lenses on this camera, which was pretty nice experience. And I think that's a pretty cool thing with this camera, is they trying to hold back to this analog photography a little bit also, and not go 100% digital, and keeping the essence of photography. And that's pretty beautiful. So more on that in other videos in the future. I'm gonna wrap it up. If you wanna see more videos around filmmaking and photography, you should subscribe to the channel and you should like this video. And thank you very much for watching.